Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Under Armour Embiid 1. So of course this is Joel Embiid's first signature shoe with Under Armour, obviously, right? And congrats to him, that's dope. Not a lot of people get signature shoes, so it's definitely a big step in his career. This shoe is going for 120 bucks, so not too cheap and not too expensive. And if you guys do want to get it, I'll leave a link in the description box, but let's get it started right away with the tracciones. So as far as the traction goes, I guess we got two pods on this outsole, one here in the forefoot, one here in the heel. We can see like there's like a pressure map kind of, and the color is a little bit different, but the rubber is actually not harder than the white part of the outsole. It's not like a dual density outsole or anything from what I can see. And I was playing on an outdoor court and had a great bite. I needed to break it in just a little bit, but for the most part, the bite was solid. I never really slipped out or anything. Not a lot of squeak though. After I started breaking it in a lot though, it started to squeak a little bit more, but for the most part, it was a silent traction pattern. And believe it or not, like on the outdoor court, shoes do squeak, and it's pretty much directly proportional to like if a shoe is squeaky on the indoor court, it's pretty much really squeaky on the outdoor court. If it's not squeaky on indoor court, then it's not squeaky on outdoor court. So the bite was really good. Durability was not though, right? So basically where the ball of my foot is, kind of like where the outsole curvature is, that's a high wear area. And also here in the heel, the outsole is literally worn down to the bare outsole, which is insane. That it wore out really quickly. So do not play with this outdoors at all. I would recommend not. You're gonna eat through the outsole very quickly. So I'd have to say, out of all the shoes that I've been trying recently, this has to have the worst durability. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition. Is overall very smooth. You know, you got a nice curve shape here in the heel, nice curve shape here in the forefoot. You have a lot of forefoot flex. So overall, it's super smooth, very fluid-like. And when you're running down the court, it feels great. It doesn't feel clunky or anything. And as far as the cushioning goes, so they're using a micro G midsole and then some hover in the heel. And the hover is basically like a little pod in the heel. And looking from the design, it looked like it was actually encased in this micro G midsole. So a court feel is actually very good. You know, you're not really sitting on top of all of this. Some of this is actually acting like a sidewall. So for the most part, impact protection was good. Like if I was doing light landings, like heel strikes or something like that, my foot was good. My foot wasn't hurting. But on like high impacts, like super hard landings in the forefoot as well as in the heel, it did hurt a little bit. I can feel the hover cushioning like compress all the way, and basically I would feel the ground and it wouldn't feel great. Like it didn't hurt like a lot, but I wouldn't say it's the best impact protection for high impact landings. So just watch out for that, but for the most part, it feels great. I also really like the heel. The hover feels awesome. It's soft. I wouldn't say it's really bouncy. It's more just like on the softer side. There's a little bit of compression right underneath the heel, but I can really feel the hover cushioning when I was just walking around. I am a pretty light guy, but when I started, you know, jogging and started playing, then I can definitely feel it. So the cushion was definitely something that I can only feel when I started playing. And for the most part, I would say it's a responsive cushion that's low to the ground and impact protection is adequate. Alright, as far as the materials go, the material quality isn't great, especially for 120 bucks, but it gets the job done, right? So basically throughout the entire upper, they're using this mesh material, which feels a little flimsy at first. It actually got really soft. And it's super thin. It conforms to your foot pretty damn well. And then here in the toe box, you have a little bit of fuse for extra added durability if you do toe drags. Obviously, you have this lateral counter here. And as far as the tongue goes, you have a good amount of padding. And here in the back, especially right behind your Achilles, you have a good amount of padding as well, which feels great. So on foot, it feels awesome. You know, I really don't have any complaints about it. The only complaint that I have is that it looks a little cheap, or it doesn't look too good. And also it feels a little cheap in hand, but all that you can forget about for performance. You know, it feels great on foot. All right, moving on to the fit. I went true to size and fits me pretty damn well. All Under Armour shoes fit me very well. So lengthwise, it was good for me. I would say it's slightly long. Here in the toe box area, it's a little snug. Not as snug as I would like, but that's okay. And the material does stretch out once you break it in. So if the fit is a little tight for you at first, just give it a little bit of time and it'll stretch out. And width-wise, I would say it's around normal. You know, not super narrow and not super wide. So the fit was okay for me. It wasn't as good as like the Curry's, personally, but it's still a pretty good fit. And as far as support and lockdown goes, I had no issues. This shoe is made for Joel Embiid. He's a really big guy, and he's actually kind of shifty. You know, he does a lot of cuts, he does step backs and all that, so he definitely needs a lot of lateral support, and he gets all of that in this shoe. So as you guys can see, the most prominent feature of the shoe is this lateral counter. I guess basically more in the midfoot, and here in the forefoot you don't really get as much, but I actually had no issues with my forefoot sliding out. That probably has to do with the fact that this lateral counter is a little bit towards the forefoot as well. And then here in the heel, the cushioning comes up as a sidewall, and you have an internal TPU heel counter. So for lateral containment, I was locked into the shoe. I had no issues with my foot sliding on the footbed. As far as the ankle support goes, it's not very good. You know, it's definitely a mid. As you guys can see, here in the back of the Achilles, it comes up quite a bit, and it's pretty high up here, you know? So it restricts movement like this way. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're jumping and stuff, landing, trying to absorb some of the impact when you're landing. And this kind of restricts that movement a little bit, but it doesn't restrict movement this way. And obviously this movement is for ankle rolls, right? So I wish they would have made this part higher and this part lower. It wasn't a huge deal though. It didn't restrict it that much, but I definitely felt it a little bit. It was kind of annoying, but I guess the padding makes it soft and it feels pretty comfortable. But I just didn't like the fact that I didn't have full freedom of movement for my ankle. And as far as lateral stability goes, I was good. You know, there's really no outrigger, but the midsole and outsole does protrude out a good amount on the lateral side here in the forefoot, and you have a flat low base, so lateral stability was good for me. So support and lockdown was actually really good in the shoe. All right, moving on to the weight. This shoe is 13.62 ounces, which is pretty surprising. It feels pretty light in hand. I feel like most of the weight is probably coming from the midsole. The upper is actually very minimal. There's not a lot going on in this upper. So yeah, I mean, I would have guessed like 12.7, 12.8 ounces. This is a very minimal feeling shoe. It doesn't feel chunky, and it also doesn't really feel too heavy to me. And also it was just a shoe that I can just rely on. I really enjoyed playing in it, and I felt quick playing in it as well. Ventilation is not very good. There's no airflow. If you blow through it, there's no airflow, and your foot's gonna be pretty damn hot. And also the extra padding here in the tongue as well as in the ankle area doesn't help either. So the ventilation wasn't very good. As far as the aesthetics go, I actually kind of like it. You know, I don't mind this colorway either. And the overall like silhouette, it definitely grew on me. A lot of people are saying it looks like a Kyrie, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So yeah, wrapping things up, the Embiid ones. Guys, I enjoyed playing in this. It's just a shoe that feels very responsive, very supportive, and I never really had to worry about it. Impact protection in the cushion was fairly good, besides I guess hard impacts, but I don't do hard impacts that much. And the traction was really good, but I guess the durability was very bad, so just watch out for that. So besides the durability of the traction being bad, everything about this shoe is great for me. I guess another thing I would improve on is maybe the material quality and material choice, but even that wasn't bad, you know, like on foot it was great, like I said. So the Embiid 1, solid performer. It'll loosely be in my rotation. That's how much I like playing in this shoe. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. And also the types of players I would recommend it to is basically everyone. If you're a big guy, support is there, cushion, like I said, impact protection was pretty good. And if you're a guard, it's a very responsive shoe. It doesn't feel chunky or super heavy or anything. You get support and all that also if you're a guard. And if you want to feel quick and not have to worry about the shoe, that definitely works in the Embiid 1. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to you guys, just not if you're playing outdoors. But anyways, that about wraps it up. Again, if you guys want to get it, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.